My name is Shelley Crary, and I'm 25 years old. If you had asked me a few years ago what betrayal felt like, I probably would have laughed and said something cliché, like heartbreak, disappointment, maybe even anger. What I didn't know then was that real betrayal doesn't feel like any of those things. It feels like walking into your own home and realizing someone else has already packed up your life and left you behind. 3 years ago, the week of Thanksgiving, I was helping a friend move across town. I spent the night on their couch, too tired to drive home, texting my girlfriend Camilla little updates and sending her those cheesy emojis she always said she secretly liked. When I pulled into my driveway the next morning, everything felt off. My welcome mat was crooked. One of the blinds was pulled up higher than the rest. It was small, insignificant on its own, but enough to make my stomach twist. Inside, my entire living room looked wrong. Not destroyed, not messy, just empty. Camilla's favorite navy peacoat wasn't hanging by the door. Her shoes weren't lined up on the rack. Her sketchbooks, 3 of them, always stacked on the coffee table, were gone. I walked into the bedroom and stopped cold. Her drawers had been emptied. The small jewelry box she kept under the bed was missing. Even the stupid succulent she kept killing and reviving had disappeared. It hit me like a punch to the ribs. She left. No note, no explanation, nothing. I called her once, straight to voicemail. Again, voicemail. Text delivered but unread. Something inside me began to unravel. I don't know why I opened my doorbell camera app. Maybe desperation, maybe instinct. Maybe I already knew the truth and needed proof. But the moment I saw the footage, my brain short-circuited. There she was, Camilla, carrying boxes out of my home. And behind her, lifting the biggest one with ease, was my younger sister, Kelsey. My sister, my best friend since childhood, the girl who used to sleep in my room when thunderstorms scared her, the girl I once swore I'd protect no matter what. They walked out together, got into Kelsey's car, and drove away. Like I never existed. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped my phone. I called my sister over and over, nothing. I called my mom, no answer. My dad picked up, confused, half asleep, worried when he heard my voice crack. He managed to get my mom to call Kelsey, putting her on speaker. "Kelsey," my mom said. "Where's Camilla? Shelley woke up and she's gone." Silence. Then the sentence that splintered something deep in my chest. "She's living with me now. She broke up with Shelley." I swear my heartbeat stopped. I opened Camilla's Instagram with trembling fingers. A new picture, the 2 of them. Camilla kissing my sister's cheek, posted 2 hours ago. I don't remember leaving the house. The next thing I knew, I was slamming my fist against Kelsey's apartment door so hard I thought it might break. Camilla opened the door. She didn't look guilty. She didn't look scared. She looked bored. "Shelley, what are you doing here?" My voice came out raw, barely human. "Where is my sister? Why did you pack your stuff? What the hell is going on?" Kelsey stepped out from the kitchen, hair messy, wearing the oversized shirt I gave her last Christmas. When she saw me, her whole expression shifted, not with regret, but annoyance. "Camilla, go upstairs." Camilla turned, but not before throwing a smirk in my direction. Like I was a joke, she'd finally stopped pretending to find funny. Kelsey crossed her arms. "We've been together for a while, since your 2nd year of college." The air vanished from the hallway. My own sister, my girlfriend, for 2 years behind my back. Camilla came back down the stairs, probably because she couldn't stand missing the drama. "You want to know why I left you," she said. "Because I got tired of pretending to like you." Something in my chest cracked. Quiet but final, like a twig snapping under a boot. I didn't scream, I didn't cry, I didn't even try to defend myself. I just left. I walked out of that apartment, down the stairs, into the car, and drove until the buildings blurred together. I don't even remember reaching home. I remember collapsing onto the couch, staring at the ceiling and thinking, so this is what it feels like to lose 2 people at once. I cut them both off that night. No calls, no messages, no explanations. I blocked them everywhere and built a wall so tall I swore nothing could ever get over it. For 3 years I lived with that promise, until my dad's 49th birthday. My parents hosted a big family gathering. I tried to bail, but Mom insisted this year was important. So I showed up, walked in with a store-bought cake and low expectations, and froze. Kelsey was there. So was Camilla. And between them, pushed gently in a stroller, was their baby. A perfect tiny little girl with a pink blanket and round cheeks and a little knitted hat. My parents stiffened when they saw me. My mom whispered, "Please, Shelley, be civil." My dad clapped my shoulder like that could erase the earthquake happening in my chest. I forced myself to breathe. force myself to smile at the relatives, force myself to pretend that seeing them didn't feel like being stabbed twice, slowly. I avoided them all night, talking to my aunt about gardening, helping my cousins set up chairs, pretending everything was normal, pretending I didn't feel the weight of their presence humming in the air. Eventually, I forgot they were there, until I went downstairs to get ice cream from the basement freezer. I turned the corner and nearly collided with my sister. Kelsey stood in the hallway, blocking my way, like she'd been waiting for the exact moment I was alone. "Shelley," she whispered, "we need to talk." Her voice was soft, shaky, almost pleading. But I walked right past her, because the truth was simple. I didn't owe her a single word. The moment I walked past Kelsey in that basement hallway, I could feel her eyes on my back like a weight. She didn't follow me, but I heard the small, shaky inhale she tried to hide. It almost sounded like guilt or fear. I didn't bother turning around. I scooped the ice cream, walked upstairs, forced myself to breathe normally, and handed it to my aunt like nothing had happened. For the rest of the night, I kept my distance. I didn't look at Kelsey, didn't glance at Camilla, didn't let my gaze wander toward the stroller. Every time Camilla laughed, something inside me twitched, like a faint echo of an old wound. Every time Kelsey shifted in my peripheral vision, I reminded myself not to react, not to give her the satisfaction of knowing she still got to me. I left the party before dessert. I didn't say goodbye. My parents called out behind me. Voices dipped in that desperate parent tone they always used when they sensed trouble. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't pretend. I got in my car, turned the ignition, and drove away as fast as I could without drawing attention. The next morning, I woke up to 27 messages from my mother. Most were some version of the same thing. "You need to forgive your sister. Camilla has changed. Family is everything. You're being stubborn, Shelley. God teaches forgiveness." It was like reading a script written by someone who didn't know me at all. My dad sent one message, short, cold, the kind he reserved for moments when he didn't want to deal with emotion. "We need to talk. Come over." I stared at the screen for a long time. Part of me wanted to throw the phone across the room. Another part of me, maybe the part that still cared despite everything, knew this conversation was inevitable. So I went. Walking into my parents' living room felt like stepping onto a stage. My mom sat with her hands clasped tightly in her lap. My dad stood near the window like he needed fresh air just to get through the conversation. And Kelsey was there too, sitting small, too small, like a child being scolded, even though she wasn't the one being asked to explain anything. Of course Camilla wasn't there. Cowards rarely show up for their consequences. My dad didn't waste time. "Shelley, you need to forgive your sister." I let out a humorless laugh. "Forgiveness isn't a switch, Dad. You don't flip it on because you're tired of dealing with tension." Mom leaned forward. "Honey, she has apologized. You just won't listen." "To who?" I asked. "'Cause she sure as hell didn't apologize to me." Kelsey looked up then. Her eyes were red, rimmed with exhaustion. "Shelley, I tried to talk to you yesterday." "You blocked a hallway," I corrected. "That's not an apology. That's an ambush." Her lip trembled. She whispered something so softly I almost didn't catch it. "I'm not expecting things to go back to normal. I want us to be family again." The word family snapped something in me. "You lost the right to call us that the moment you helped Camilla move out of my house like a thief in the night." Mom flinched. Dad exhaled sharply. Kelsey's chin fell to her chest. "I know," she whispered, voice cracking. "I know I hurt you. I know what I did was unforgivable." "Then stop asking me to forgive it," I said. Silence stretched across the room like a wire pulled too tight. My dad crossed his arms. "Shelley, you're being dramatic. She regrets it. She's grown up. She has a child now." "And?" I asked. "Having a child doesn't erase betrayal." "She's your sister," he insisted. "You don't turn your back on blood." I stared at him, disbelief swirling in my chest. "But she turned her back on me, and you both act like it was a temporary lapse in judgment." Mom started talking again, her voice soft, pleading, coated in religious guilt. Verses about forgiveness, parables about redemption, stories I grew up hearing, stories I once believed. But all I could think was, if I had done to Kelsey what she did to me, you would have disowned me. I took a deep breath. My hands were shaking, but my voice was steady. "If you want a relationship with me, you have to accept my boundaries. I don't want contact with Kelsey. Not now. Maybe not ever. You don't have to pick sides, but you can't force me to pretend everything's fine." My mother's eyes filled with tears. She looked at my dad like she expected him to fix it. My dad swallowed hard. "You'll regret this, Shelley." Maybe that was meant to scare me. Maybe he thought guilt would win, like it always did when I was younger. But I wasn't that girl anymore. No, I said quietly. I'll regret it if I stay. Then I turned to my sister. Kelsey, I hope you're happy with your choices. Truly. I hope motherhood changes you. I hope life gives you peace. But what you did to me, that's a wound you don't get to walk back into. A tear slipped down her cheek. Shelley, please. I shook my head. I'm done. I grabbed my bag, walked past my parents, and stepped out onto the porch. My chest felt tight, but for the first time in years, the air felt breathable. I got in my car and drove straight to the closest fast food place I could find. I ordered fries and a milkshake and ate in the parking lot, staring blankly at a billboard across the street. And for some reason, the absurdity of it all, betrayal, family meetings, emotional blackmail, ice cream tubs, birthday parties, hit me at once. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because I suddenly realized I didn't have to carry any of it anymore. That night, sitting cross-legged on my bed, I opened my phone and downloaded a dating app. Not because I was ready for love or healing or anything poetic like that, but because after everything my sister stole from me, after everything Camilla wrecked, after everything my parents tried to force, I deserved a chance to start over, and I was finally ready to take it. When I downloaded that dating app, I wasn't expecting anything. I wasn't looking for closure, healing, or romance. I just wanted something, anything, that didn't feel like grief, a distraction, a breath, a moment where my heart didn't feel like somebody had stitched betrayal into it. But then I matched with Jason. His first message made me laugh so hard I snorted water up my nose. Something about how my smile looked like I was secretly planning to steal office supplies. Stupid, silly, exactly what I needed. We talked for hours, then the next day, and the next. He didn't pry, didn't push, didn't ask about my past until I was ready. He just listened, cracked dumb jokes, and somehow made the world feel softer. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel broken. Of course, life doesn't let you heal quietly, especially not when your past is messy, loud, and refuses to stay buried. It started with a message from a number I didn't recognize. Shelley, I need to talk to you. Camilla. I stared at the name for a long minute, like it was a ghost that had appeared in my living room. I almost deleted it without reading more. But then another message came. It's about Kelsey. My chest tightened. Against my better judgment, I opened it. What I saw didn't feel real. Rambling paragraphs, misspelled words, emotional spirals, half confessions, half pleas, and then the bomb. Kelsey has been struggling with serious drug issues. We're drowning financially. I don't know what to do. I made mistakes. I know I hurt you. I'm sorry. I never should have chosen her. I don't know how to fix my life. For a moment, I didn't even react. I just stared at the screen, rereading the words again and again, waiting for them to rearrange themselves into something that made sense. Then came the last message. Sometimes I think about us, what we could have been. The audacity almost made me laugh. I didn't respond. I blocked her instead. But just like a bad sequel nobody asked for, my parents got involved within an hour. My mother called 8 times in a row. Then my dad. Then my mother again. By the 11th call, I picked up. Shelley, Mom blurted out, voice shrill with emotion. Your sister needs you. No, I said flatly. She needs help. There's a difference. She's falling apart, Mom insisted. And Camilla reached out to you because she trusts you. You're the strong one, Shelley. You always have been. That sentence, the strong one, landed like a slap. I'd been strong when Camilla cheated. Strong when Kelsey stole my relationship. Strong when my family pressured me to forgive. Strong through every manipulation, every guilt trip, every tearful speech. I was tired of being strong. I'm not their savior, I said. They made their choices. You're being cruel, she whispered. Cruel? I repeated. They blew up my life, Mom. I'm not responsible for sweeping up their ashes. She inhaled sharply. If you don't help your sister, then who will? Her wife, I said. Her wife can deal with the consequences of the life they built. Mom went quiet. Not because she agreed, but because she had run out of excuses. Then came the whisper, the same whisper that had haunted my childhood. You're disappointing us. I closed my eyes. Then be disappointed, I said, and hung up. When I told Jason about it later, he didn't offer cliches or try to fix it. He just listened, really listened. Then he took my hands gently and said, You deserve peace, and you're allowed to choose it. It was the first time anyone had given me permission to walk away. But unfortunately, walking away isn't always enough, because Kelsey showed up next. It was late, a quiet weeknight. I had just finished washing dishes when the doorbell rang. I froze, sensing who it was before I even looked. When I opened the door, Kelsey stood on my porch, eyes swollen, hair unwashed, holding herself like she might collapse if I breathed too hard. "Can I come in?" she asked. "No." The word hit her like a physical blow. She swallowed, trembling. "Please," she whispered. "Just a minute. Just let me talk." "I don't owe you that." She nodded slowly, accepting the hit. I know you hate me. I would hate me too." Her voice cracked. She pressed a hand against her mouth to steady herself. "I messed up everything. My marriage, my finances, my life. Camilla," she choked on the name. "Camilla isn't the person I thought she was. She's cruel, Shelley. She screams at me. She hurts me. She uses me. And I don't know how to get out. It should have moved me, should have stirred something protective and sisterly inside me. But all I felt was exhaustion. "Kelsey," I said quietly, "I'm sorry you're hurting. I mean that. But you didn't show me mercy when I was drowning. You held my head underwater." She shook her head frantically. "I was stupid. I was selfish. I didn't think—" "No, you didn't care." She flinched. "I'm not going to save you," I said. "I can't go back there with you, not after what you did." She wiped at her eyes helplessly. "You're the only person I have left." "That's not true," I said. "You have Camilla, and Mom, and Dad." A bitter laugh slipped out of her. "No, I had Camilla, and I had Mom and Dad, until I became a disappointment. Now they barely speak to me." I exhaled, long, exhausted. That was the cost of their choices, not mine. "Please," she whispered, "just tell me you don't hate me." I looked at her fully then, really looked. "I don't hate you," I said softly, "but I don't trust you, and that's not something I can fix." She nodded, broken, defeated, and stepped back. "I'm sorry, Shelley," she said, "for everything." And then she left. I closed the door, leaned my forehead against it, and let out a breath I'd been holding for 3 years. Jason came up behind me and wrapped his arms around my shoulders. I hadn't even heard him enter the room. "You okay?" he murmured. For once, I didn't lie. "I don't know," I whispered, "but I think I'm getting there." He kissed the side of my head, "One day at a time, and I'm not going anywhere." Later that night, as I lay in bed beside him, I realized something important, something I should have known all along. Healing isn't a dramatic moment. It's not revenge. It's not confrontation. It's not bursting into tears or slamming doors. Healing is